My name is Tracy Bryan. I grew up outside of the Houston area. I am the president and CEO of the Bridge of Southern New Mexico in Las Cruces, New Mexico. As president and CEO, you get to do the work, which is so fun. You get to report on the work, communicate about the work. So having a job like this requires a really interesting set of skills. And I don't have all the skills. And so when I don't have a skill, I go hire somebody as a contractor to come do it. For example, I'm not a web designer. I'm not a graphic designer, but I have some partners in the work that help me with that. But my skill set to run an organization, especially this organization, is to be a really good listener and a really good learner, because a lot of the people who are part of the work come from very different spheres of influence: education, business, economic development, and government. And they all have their own lens on the world. So part of my job is to translate, to listen to them and figure out what are they saying and how can I take and build bridges between those very different sectors with very different goals, who want the same thing, but really create a dialogue between them by breaking down any language barriers or, understanding barriers so that we all understand where we're going together. A lot of career pathways start out with sort of an idea of the end in mind, and mine is a little different, but I'll explain it. I think I started to really hit upon in high school. I took a journalism class, and I was in a high school that was really good at helping students, even if it was in English or history or whatever, to do a lot of writing. And I really liked writing. And then when I got into journalism, I was pretty good at it. I liked writing. And so as I went to college, I started out to pursue a journalism degree. However, I got an internship, and that internship changed everything. I was working as an intern for Exxon, the company in Houston, and was in their corporate communications department. And I was like, this is very interesting. I can get paid to do this. But I had also gotten another internship while I was at Blinn College, which is in Brenham, Texas, where they make Bluebell ice cream. And I got an internship working for Bluebell, where you do really eat all you can and you sell the rest. It was a great job, and I was a lot heavier. And that internship really solidified for me, this is where I fit. And so after I graduated, I was real fortunate to come back to Bluebell. Eventually, over time, I became their public relations director. And then my husband took a job where we moved to California, and they don't have Bluebell in California. That by itself is a travesty. However, they also did not know what a wonderful person I was, because I had worked for this company that so loved, and I had to somewhat start over. But I got a job working for a communications firm, and what they do is they offer their services in communications for other clients. One of those clients was something called the Jacobs Family Foundation and the Jacobs Center for Neighborhood Innovation, and they were a foundation. They worked with a community to help reinvent itself using the wisdom and abilities of the people who lived there, who wanted something better for themselves. So I went from the for-profit world to the nonprofit world. And I say this all the time: if you can communicate, you can do anything. So the broad range of opportunities available to you, if you can read, understand, write clearly, convey clearly, and speak clearly, and really, you know, understand that the most important thing is that everybody is seeing the same thing together and figuring out ways to make sure that that happens. I think you could do anything. There's any variety of applications. My high school years were a little rough. Things were rough at home, but school was a refuge for me. Teachers loved me, they invested in me, they built me up. And, so I really enjoyed the school environment. I was an avid reader, and I have read studies that say people who read a lot tend to write really well. So I'm sure that my love of reading kind of helped me with some of that. But I took the classes everybody took. I was a good student, so I was in honors classes. And I guess the neat thing about that experience is you sort of go to school with the same set of people because they're all in those classes together. But journalism was this new thing, and I didn't know if I liked it, but I tried it. And that teacher really saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And she was very intentional about speaking life to me and speaking to me about my abilities and the things that she saw. And we had competitions and, for journalism and other things. And I thrived in that. I'm very competitive, type A. But I thrived in that environment. So, the experiences of learning how to talk to people, because that's what journalism is, right? You go and interview somebody and you capture their story. And so a lot of my career, I've always believed I'm a storyteller. I'm listening. I'm trying to translate back. Is this what you've said? Is this an accurate representation of what you have entrusted to me of your story? And so I think I really learned that lesson in high school. I remember high school as being a hard time. And I remember not knowing who I was. And I think if somebody had told me when I was in high school where I'd be today, I wouldn't believe them. So, what I would encourage a high school person to know is if you don't have all of your life figured out, that's perfectly fine. Nobody does. And anybody who says they do, they're lying.